Welcome to the Feel Better, Be Better show. Today, Kate and Nevada will answer your questions and introduce new topics designed to help feel better and be better. These are raw conversations, but they will make a difference.
All right, this is the show about intensity!
No!
Or consistency.
Consistency.
Okay, consistency.
Why do you say it so sad?
Well, because it's consistent.
Oh.
It's just consistency.
Consistent tone.
Yes. I like intensity a lot better.
I know. Super intense all the time.
Intense is easier. You can be intense in short bursts.
Yeah.
It's really hard to be consistent.
It is really hard to be consistent.
Yeah.
You really have to work to build that.
Yeah.
But that's why it works in the long run, which we'll tell you about.
There we go. Yeah. So, teaser.
No. I had an interesting conversation today. Person came in who is a health coach and been doing some health stuff with the group that she kind of runs and is a part of. And I just thought it'd be an interesting topic to kind of expand on, because we talked about how a lot of times people make being healthy and healthy choices into such a big thing, which really just doing certain key things consistently, which seems small, can make the biggest impact long run.
Oh, you mean like the whole, like, people would go and just, like, clean out their fridge of all the bad food, you know, and throw it all away, and then, you know, like a couple hours later, run into the gas station to get themselves a bag of chips.
Yeah.
Or a candy bar.
Yeah, or, I mean, like, you have to be perfectly clean when you eat, otherwise you're never going to lose weight. Or you have to go work out in the gym, you know, 60 minutes super hard sweat 5 times a week, otherwise you're never going to get in good shape. And really, the level that you have to do if you do it consistently feels stupid in comparison. Like, I mean, it feels like there's no way that should be enough to make a difference, but it does.
Well, I think my biggest problem is, I mean, especially on workouts all the time. I mean, I want to be, like, I remember when I was younger, when it was like an hour, hour and a half, hitting it hard, doing this, you know, HIIT type workouts, you know, regular lifting off and on. I mean, just covering every body part, just killing your body, just crushing it. Yeah, that's a workout. That's what I remember. That's what I think is a workout.
Yeah. Well, and even like, I mean, you think about weights, it's so easy to be like, well, if you're gonna build muscle, you have to go in and do like a crazy amount of weight and do all these reps and make sure you're hitting all these muscles X amount of times a week, and that's how you're gonna grow strength.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I mean, it's really not like that at all. I mean, if you want to be like bodybuilder style or powerlifter style, like if you've got goals like that, sure. But if you just want to generally tone your body and get stronger, you don't have to go to those crazy levels to see increases pretty quickly.
Well, I think one of the best ways to look at it is, like, think of like a guy or a girl or whatever, somebody you know that, you know, works in like construction,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or, you know, just does something that's a little more physical labor type thing. They do it all the time, right? So if you take like me, you know, who's behind an office all the time, and throw me into a construction job, I'll be fine for a day. That's about it. The next day is going to be rough. I'm going to be sore. I'm going to be beat up. I'm going to have whatever. And but that person that's doing, you know, hammering in stuff every single day of the week, that's carrying stuff here and there, the next day they're going to be perfectly fine. Now, here's the funny part. You stick them and sit them behind a desk for 8 hours, and they're going to have a hard time the next day because they're going to be sore because their body's not used to that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all kind of one of those things where, but you look at that person and physically they're so much stronger. They have so much more, you know, I don't know what the right word is, but they just have so much, their strength is so much in because they're constantly lifting and moving and carrying and doing all those things that you want to do. So when they go to shake your hand or go to grab something or something like that, they have way less problems. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the strength I think we're kind of talking about, right?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too, is like, I mean, most of that stuff, they're not lifting a crazy amount. Mm-mm. Or, you know, they don't have to put a crazy amount of force to hammer something in necessarily. It's the consistency of doing it all the time that those muscles become really strong. Now, if they were to use different muscles or in a different way, they might see that they're not as strong in those areas. But it's more the consistency to it, where, I mean, they're not trying to lift 300 pounds of stuff multiple times during the day because that's going to make them stronger. I mean, they're arguably could be as strong as people who go do that just from lifting less amount more consistently.
Well, that's where I come back where, I mean, so that construction type person. So, I mean, you could have like me, somebody who say I was in an office, but I ran a lot, to keep my figure all nice and good. But anyway, just, that I'm basically doing that to stay in shape because that's what a lot of people will do. They'll run and they like running. I mean, there's nothing wrong with running whatsoever. It is what it is. But you put like that person next to like a construction worker, they'll be like, man, I wish I would work out more to be able to have the muscles and the strength and all that kind of stuff. But the construction worker sitting back going, didn't have that stamina, doesn't have the ability to run like that. So, I mean, most people are doing so many things repetitively every single day that's building a certain structure, a certain lifestyle, a certain thing, that if you deviate from that too much, it's going to basically be sore and is going to hurt you. Mm-hmm. So there's positives and negatives on both sides of those. There's not a whole lot of positives from sitting behind a desk, 50 hours a week. But I mean, that's a different conversation. But I mean, I think what we're trying to talk about here, though, is that the consistency from that person that's running 4 or 5 times a week, the consistency that they're never going in there and it's a workout for them. That is their job. That is their thing they do. That they don't necessarily even feel a huge burn. Those people that run 4 or 5 times a week, they don't go out trying to kill themselves every single run. I'm going to go for 2 miles and 5 miles or whatever it is. It's a good little burn for them. It's a good workout. It's just they can do that consistently all the time. Mm-hmm. Same thing with a construction worker where they're just moving stuff around. I got to be able to move it tomorrow, so they're not overexerting themselves. They're just doing what they need to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think with that too, I mean, you can take those principles and apply them to stuff that you don't get out of your job. So like if you are a construction worker and you do want, some stamina, you don't have to go out and run multiple miles multiple times a week. I mean, on your lunch break, maybe get a walk in, or if you work at a desk, you're not going to have the lifting all day long. So maybe you do some resistance exercises while you're on your lunch break. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do to add in the consistency to your routine if it's not already there from the type of job you have. We don't all have to go out and be construction workers now.
Well, I think the interesting part about that is we're bringing them up as points of that. Look what consistency can do. Mm-hmm. So in trying to break that thing in your mind that says, if I want to do a workout, I got to do blah. Mm-hmm. There is nothing to say that you can't grab, little 5-10 minute increments throughout your day at your desk that you do some push-ups or some body weight squats or some whatever the heck you can do to try to give you a little strength training in there. It may not kill you. It's not going to kill you. You're not going to be sweating. You're not going to be feeling the burn. But it's just something that's going to allow you to get some of that consistency in there. If you're the construction worker and you want to be able to have a little bit more stamina, endurance with your, along with some of your strength, you're going to have to find ways to work in some, running or walking or something in there with your workout, because otherwise all you're doing is basically lifting the whole time. Yeah. So, I mean, I think the point is that we feel like it has to be a lot of stuff when really, as long as it's just consistent, it doesn't need to be hardly that much at all.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. I used to work at an office that was 5 stories tall. And wherever I would go somewhere, I'd use the stairs. And when you first start taking the stairs, multiple floors, like it's easy to get kind of winded. But I mean, I would never walk more than 5 minutes at a time. And throughout the day, maybe 15 minutes total up and down them because I didn't have to go a lot of places. But just doing that, and then if you take a break and you try to do it, you notice the difference is just the consistency of doing a little bit of that makes. And how big of a difference it makes in where you're at.
Yeah, did they do roll your eyes and call you the stair lady? Oh yeah, the stair lady's here again.
They'd always just be like, oh, we're going to go up to this floor for social, meeting or whatever we're doing at work. And so I'm like, okay, I'll meet you up there and take you the stairs. Like, oh, of course you're taking the stairs. I'm like, well, it's faster than I beat you up there every single time. I'm faster than the elevator in. I feel good taking them. They're pretty good. I'm going to get my little workout in. Work on those butt muscles.
See, you missed your opportunity there. You should have been like, I always beat you. Do you want me to grab you like a donut for the ride on the elevator?
Should.
Maybe in a soda. Then you'll have your energy, your caffeine.
Yeah, but the snacks and drinks are already up there.
Yeah.
So I'll save them when I get up there.
Yeah. There you go. They probably really burned so many calories from that elevator ride. Yeah. Anyway, no, I think it's the hard thing of reprogramming yourself to find those little things you can do during the day.
Well, and being brave enough to do them, because I mean, if you work in an open office space, it's really easy to be uncomfortable that, you're doing some exercise over lunch, or you're going to take the stairs instead of the elevator when people notice. I mean, it can be uncomfortable to change those things and have people notice and say something because it's out of the normal what everybody else is doing.
Well, nobody, even if you have somebody that's even saying in a supportive fashion of like, oh yeah, you're going to take the stairs. Okay, we'll see you up there. You still feel called out for that.
You do. Nobody really wants to be noticed and put on the spot. Not usually. So even if it isn't, like you said, an okay thing, like, I don't like it when people are like, oh, well, you're doing something different. I'm like, yeah, do we really need to say that though? Like, I mean, I should be better about that because I want to be like, yeah, you can too, but it's hard.
Yeah, no, it feels awkward. You feel, and the problem you run into is it's almost like you then become, you're the person that's doing the stairs. You almost feel like you're insulting them by doing it, which is even weirder, but you do feel that way.
Yeah.
It feels like you're showing off that you're able to stay in shape. And it's kind of a weird feeling to have. So, I mean, yeah, having that bravery to do that, having that ability to say, you know what, I fully respect your decisions and what you want to do in your life, but I'm going to do this, is a tough thing to do with people. It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're going to break down and do some like 90-90 stretch or some combat stretch or something like that sitting in your office, especially in an open office, people may look at you like, what the hell are you doing? And you can be like, working on this, babe. Making this thing look good. That's what I'm doing. Really, with a stretch, it all starts somewhere. You didn't learn how to run before you learned how to walk. So I mean,
yeah,
you had to start it from somewhere.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, with that too, just do like 2 or 3 stretches a day, or 2 or 3 like body weight squats, wall sits, lunges, different stuff like that. I mean, you can see a lot with just that. You don't have to get crazy at your desk. You can do a lot of easy exercises.
You can even just set things up to where you need to get up, squat down, reach into stuff, make sure just do certain things. I mean, you may not even look at a workout, but you work them into your day to be able to get you a workout without even realize that you're doing a workout. So if I can just rearrange my desk to where I've got to get up, walk around, get something out of this file. And when I do that, I'm going to do it where I squat down to pull it open to look at whatever I'm doing. You basically are working in little things all over the place there. So how can you, and then we talk about take the stairs. Well, or, maybe you park in a certain direction where you have to go up a hill or whatever, or something like that, or even down a hill. I mean, obviously if you go up one way, you'll be going down the other way. Unless it's a hill from like back in the day, then it's always up. But, just trying to find those little things that you can do. And then if you have to justify it because you don't want people to know, I mean, you just tell them, and they're like, well, I wanted to make sure that so-and-so would have a better ability to get in. And they want to take away somebody's parking spot that needed it for, maybe they have an injury or something or whatever. I'd rather be the one that walked the farther distance or did the harder one so that everybody else could have it easier. Nobody argues about that person.
Or if the weather's nice, like, oh, I just wanted to walk outside a little bit longer.
Oh, yeah, they'll still look at you like crazy there.
Enjoy the beautiful weather.
Yeah, I still go for my walks. Yeah, we're in wintertime. It's getting cold. I'm in my jacket. I still go on my walks during the day. And they're just like, are you crazy? And I'm like, I feel so much better when I get some sun on my body. So I go for a walk over lunch. It's full 10 minutes. Nobody said you had to join me. Man, it's freezing out there. I'm like, that's why they invented gloves and a sun cap. I'm good to go. What's up?
Yeah. I was not a popsicle when I get back, so I'm pretty sure I'm okay.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, then you get into that whole thing of like, it's probably really good for me exposing myself to the extreme temperatures. So, yeah, that's another thing. It's a whole other world. But I think we were really wanting to focus in on how much consistency can really affect your workouts way more than intensity.
Yeah. I think we've hit on the exercise of it quite a bit, unless there's anything else you want to say on specific exercises.
On the exercise, no. I think you want to move into nutrition.
No, I actually wanted to take it over just to like sports training just for a little bit before we go into
Sure.
before we go into nutrition, just from the fact like, I know we have a lot of athletes that feel like they have to naturally be good at something or, work within. They almost have this vision of what they have to do to be really good at stuff. Where you and I know, I mean, it's consistency there too. I mean, if we go hit multiple times a week or even once a week, you're gonna get better just from that. And it doesn't have to be off of live pitching. It doesn't have to be anything super intense. Just go hit off the tee or front toss, for a little bit, and you naturally will get better just from the consistency. And you can elevate that by having someone who knows what they're teaching. But what?
Got an interesting one for you. So they did this study where they had kids that practiced on a goal shooting a free throw.
Mm-hmm.
Then they had a group of kids that did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And they had another group of kids that just visualized shooting free throws. Now you can tell by the fact of where we're going with this, which one did better.
I'm going to say, I would guess that visualization was either the best or second best.
They were pretty much dead even with the ones that did it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was kind of a trick question there. And obviously better than the ones that didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But they needed that for the control. But I think the whole thing I'm going to bring on that one is, I don't know if you did this when you were a kid, but I know I did. I would, whatever, we'd be playing with something, I'd get some kind of a stick thing or whatever, it'd become a swing.
Mm-hmm.
And, I envision swinging something.
Yeah.
Or the big one for me was, basketball or baseball or something like that, where I was throwing something or shooting something or whatever. But I mean, you see kids do it all the time. I know I still kind of do it too, where I'm just, if I got a basketball or a ball like that type thing and I don't have anything to do, I'm still doing like this. I'm still working on shooting something.
Yeah, you have a kid try to hold a basketball still while you're trying to talk.
You don't do it.
They don't do that.
No. But what I'm trying to get at here, though, is that at least when I was a kid, we didn't have near the tablets and the video games and the computers and all the phones and all the stuff and everything we have now. We had to kind of entertain ourselves like that before. So we were doing that stuff on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You don't see kids do that as much now.
No. Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of the kids that would go around and just dribble around like they were juking and driving around people. And they didn't even have a defender or a goal or anything. They just were dribbling around all day long. But I think the main point I have...
Of course, you tell that kid visualization and they'll lose them. But if you say you're just practicing on if somebody might try to steal it from them, they would totally get that.
Mm-hmm. I think the main point, though, which we reiterate a lot on this, is just that a lot of players think you're either naturally good or you're not, when really it's the amount of hours you put into it. If you put a lot of hours into just consistently working on a skill within a sport, you will get better and probably pass a lot of people on the way. You might not be the best player to play the sport, but you will make huge strides to as good as you can be capable-wise.
Well, I think the same thing we talked about working out flows right over to the sports stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as much as the intensity at practice. Well, that does play a role, and coaches definitely like seeing that. The consistency will pay off way more.
Yeah.
And we've tried to give the kids we coach homework assignments. It's obvious that most of them do not do that.
It's obvious which ones to do.
Or at least try them for a little while. And so you just don't realize how much those can impact you. Mm-hmm. I mean, we tend to focus a lot on hitting. So, I mean, we definitely see a huge difference on people we send home that's doing dry swing or hip turns or whatever else thing we send home that's, again, just like 5 times a night. Take you 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. No reason. You miss one, fine. Come back and get the next day. That consistency, though, doing that, all of a sudden the muscle memory is built. All of a sudden here it comes and everything just starts clicking. And it's people act like you're just a magic worker or something. You're just like, all you did is just have them do this 5 times a night. It's like, can you imagine if you actually applied yourself on a regular routine that basically didn't hurt you? Mm-hmm. Can you hit, grab the bucket and do a bucket every single night? Next thing you know, you would probably be hitting great. Whether it's a baseball or softball or golf ball or whatever else you may hit with a ball. If you grab a football or 2 or whatever and you throw it a couple of times, you're probably going to become pretty accurate. You're probably going to start having a stronger arm. but you don't want to kill yourself. You don't want to go out one Saturday and do it for 4 hours straight. But if you grab it for 20 minutes a night, that's still more than what you did on the 4 hours straight, and you're going to probably get way better because you're basically building that reinforcing of your muscle memory on a regular basis. So yes, this directly relates to your sports skills.
Yep, as well as everything in life. But yeah. So now we can go into nutrition.
My specialty. Yeah. No, same thing applies over here. I mean, everybody, burns the bridges and gets rid of all their junk food. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to do this. I'm going straight salads. I'm going to eat, don't worry, I'm going to do ranch light dressing. Just a whole ton of it. Just constant. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm
cheese and
with
fried
cheese.
chicken
Yeah.
on there.
Oh yeah, I gotta get my protein. So I'm gonna that's that we can laugh about dieting, but I'm just saying that we do that, and all of a sudden, really quickly, our bodies start craving other things because we've talked about this before on the bacteria wants to get that stuff and everything like that. So it's gonna make your body crave all those things you just took away from it. So we've been pretty heavily on the fact of just make a little change. Just keep making a little change. Just keep making a little change. And those little changes throughout time will make a huge difference. I still have people now asking me what I'm doing crazy on my workouts or my diets and stuff like that because I'm trimming down. I'm just like, yeah, I'm probably one of the worst I've been. The only thing that's better now is I have my habits. I have my meal preps. I have my things like that are just, that's what I do. That's what I crave. That's what I need. I don't even think anything about it now.
Well, I was going to say too, one major, with that, yes, take a change and make it consistent in your life. It usually takes about 2 to 4 weeks, consistently doing it for it to become a habit. So, for example, when we did meal prep, you ate out a lot for lunches up to that point. Quick Trip or whatever.
I wasn't a lot. It was every meal.
Yeah, sure. Anyway. So going from that to then having meals every week to where you're consistently doing it, you don't do that anymore. It's actually kind of weird when you do have a week where you eat out a whole bunch.
Yeah, it messes my system.
It does. But just having that consistency, it's now more your normal and where you feel good, and it's now not something you have to think about because you set in place the ways to be successful and not miss them, and it's a habit, and that's what you do. And so
now, of course, we're talking about my cravings. I actually crave that stuff now.
Yeah. And so, like you said, when you do eat out all week, you can feel the difference. But, I think that's the biggest thing is, like you said, people want to give up everything. They're like, I'm not going to eat any sugar. I'm not going to drink any soda. I'm not going to eat any fast food. I think it'd be a disservice to tell people we don't eat out. We grab fast food quite a bit. And
I'm hungry. We don't have time. We're on the run. Got to get something to eat.
Yeah, and evenings are hard, but that doesn't mean that there's not enough consistency with healthier alternatives during the day with snacks or lunch or stuff like that, that the bulk of your week is consistently in that healthier zone to where you do see that, you are trimming down or you're feeling better or, keeping your weight at a level you want it to be at. It's not about being perfect. It's not about never indulging in stuff later in life. It's not where you have to, it's all or nothing.
Well, I think the biggest thing on that one is that you got to find, that one thing that you can actually feel consistent with. So, we talked plenty about adding as opposed to subtracting is one of the biggest ones. So maybe you find a way, try different ways of cooking your vegetables. Google online, check out, okay, do I want to cook them? Do I want to steam them? Do I want to just eat them raw? Do I want to do whatever? Try a different thing. Find one that you like. Then you just say, I want to make sure I eat a serving of these a day. What do I got to do for that? So you start adding that in. You could literally find it. You put it in a plastic Ziploc bag if you want to, and you could heat them up before you go to lunch and take them with you and throw them onto whatever meal you're doing with your friends. And they could look at you all crazy and be like, just tell them your doctor said you needed to have more vegetables. You really think your friend's going to be give you a hard time about that? But you adding that vegetable in keeps you from eating those extra French fries. Keeps you from ordering that extra burger. That'd be my case. I'm like, yeah, we had 2 burgers this lunch instead of 4. that little change consistently will make a huge difference than that 1 week that you decided that you were going to go with, all vegan or whatever. 'Cause there's just no way you can keep that intense of a diet. Life will happen.
Yeah.
But can you basically add in a serving of vegetables every week? Probably.
Yeah.
That one you could probably do.
Well, I find it interesting too because the group who I got my nutrition certification through, they literally broke down, they've trained thousands of people who have come through their program and looked to do dietary changes. And they've taken that data, and even if you just are consistent 10% of the time, which feels like nothing, they saw changes in people for positive, for as far as like weight gain, muscle loss, things like that. Just 10%. Now, the more consistent you can be, closer to 80%, you're going to see a lot bigger gains in that. But it just goes to show that even just a little bit makes a huge difference. If you can just be consistent a little bit, or, if you're usually pretty good and you have a bad week, but you can still be more consistent than like nothing at all, it's still going to be positive for you.
It's tell me when you haven't heard this one where it's like, well, I was going to go on a diet, but I'm going to start tomorrow because I already had this.
Or Monday.
Or Monday.
The weekend's already ruined because of Friday night. So
Yeah,
I'll
pretty
just
much.
get back on it on Monday.
Yeah. Or, just one of those things where it's like, yeah, well, I guess I'll, I know I said Monday, but I'm gonna start tomorrow because we're going to, whatever, pick awesome restaurant or whatever, we're going to go here for lunch with the group or whatever. And it always is something. You always put that off. And a lot of times it always comes back to, it's like, well, I didn't even do like dinner last night. So what difference does it make now?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, it's okay. It's not a battle. You're just trying to squeeze in. Find something that you can squeeze in. Just a little thing you can squeeze in. Not that you have to take away anything. And as soon as you try to take some away, then it feels like you're missing out.
Yeah, can I drink a glass of water at dinner before I drink soda? So maybe I'm tricking my brain into drinking just 2 that night instead of 3 or 4.
Well, some of the ones I already listed some of the ones I love the best, for especially on dietary, is adding a vegetable in 1 a day. Start with 1 a day, go to 2, great, whatever. Maybe 1 a day works perfectly fine for you. You can stick with that. Glass of water before you eat a meal, huge. It's just huge. If you have problems overeating, that one's monstrous. Basically, all you're doing is you're just replacing the water in the fill line in your belly with water instead of food. So it's a great way, especially. But you can say, well, I'm gonna do that with soda. Might as well. That's all the extra calories right there. It didn't really matter. So just do it with water.
That, and they see that soda causes you to crave more food.
Exactly. And
Whereas
so
water quenches your thirst.
Exactly. So yeah, water. I'm just saying you can't really substitute anything in there for water. Somebody be like, well, I did Gatorade. It's just bad. So it's got to be water. And then the last one is walking after you eat. 10-minute walk after you eat. Your body is built for being up and moving, and your digestive system, it loves that gravity helping, and the movement helps slosh things around for you in your system.
Kind of like a little massage on your muscles.
Pretty much. It sounds ridiculous, but it so works. And by the way, when you're getting that walk outside, take your glass off for 10 minutes and get some sun on your eyeballs. That's a Huberman thing. So yeah. And you do those consistently and you will see huge changes. So.
Yep. Or even, some of the ones I love too that are super easy and don't even change anything you're doing yet is, slow down and take at least 20 minutes to eat your meal, because it takes us 20 minutes for our hunger cues to even tell us we're full.
I know you're not talking to me.
Sure.
I know you're not.
You eat slow enough, so nobody needs to talk to you on that. But a lot of people eat too fast, so take your time and really chew your food and set your fork down between bites and savor it and enjoy it. That's a huge thing for people. Learning where that 80% full mark is. There was another one I had.
I very much enjoy my savoring my meals.
Yeah, you kind of talk in between your bites though.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You like that conversation?
That's insane. I don't talk in between my bites. I talk in between my bites and while I'm biting and sometimes while I'm chewing.
Talk.
Yep. My mouth ain't moving, then you know how that saying goes.
But yeah, there's even a lot of that stuff you can do that's adding almost on the mental side of it, and you haven't even taken away food yet.
I was gonna say, for me though, that's all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to exercise while I'm eating, trying to get,
I don't think that counts like that.
that's what I'm doing.
Exercising your jaw muscles.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to make everything work while I'm eating. That's how I keep this skinny body.
I talk so much I burn 3,000 calories a day.
Hey, kind of works. I'm kind of skinny.
I want you to tell someone when they ask you what your secret is next time, just be like, I talk all the time.
That's what I'll say. Which is funny because some people wouldn't believe that. Other people would just die laughing that I just said that. Some people actually believe that I don't talk all the time. So,
Don't know who those people are.
yeah,
Not as bad as my daughter, but
no.
that girl can talk all the time.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that kind of wraps up our exercise, athletic, nutritional, consistency versus intensity.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep stirring the pot. Just keep stirring it
Exercising your arm.
up. Yeah.
That is arthritis exercise.
Okay. Yeah, we're definitely moving on.
Thank you for watching Kate and Nevada. Hope you've enjoyed this show and found it useful and empowering. If you have any questions or comments, please contact them at Knetix.com. That's KNETICX.com. They're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. And please write a review of the show. Kate and Nevada appreciate hearing the feedback, and they welcome your reviews, and your word of mouth will help others learn how to feel better and be better.